for joining us. I'm going to give you a little introduction for everybody who doesn't know who you are. And you are a longtime champion of blockchain technology, which you learned about from your son and you implemented in your dealership business. So you have a great opportunity here to talk to us a little bit about real world use cases. Not only that, you are a champion in Ohio. So tell us a little bit about how your first year is, having had just more than a layman's understanding of the technology as you're entering into this rulemaking process.
So actually I was with my now 27-year-old son that when he was 13 told me that I should take every cent I had and put it into Bitcoin. At the time, I didn't do that. He reminded me just yesterday, quantified for me the exact dollar amount in which I lost. But he did, although he is a true Bitcoiner. He denies that he owns Bitcoin, has no idea what I'm talking about, but he's been very successful. But look, here in the Senate, you got to remember, for me, from my perspective, I'd never been in DC for more than 48 hours in my life prior to January 3rd. When I got sworn in. I'd never been in elected office in my life. This is not something I aspired to do. The premise was we need more business people, we need more outsiders in DC, and that's why I'm here. In terms of how the first year's gone, probably I would say as expected. There's a lot of people who opine on things they have no idea what they're talking about. I now know the origin of that Facebook ad when the little lady's pulling pictures off the wall and the guy going, none of it works that way. I have that person in my head quite often when I'm talking about crypto regulation. And so it's hard to unwind some people's brains when they just think they know what they're talking about when they really don't. I think when it comes to what we're doing here in the crypto space, it's not Democrat versus Republican, by the way. This is just more, do you understand how this innovation needs to happen in America? We need to take a leading position. Don't be afraid of new technology. It's inevitable. And by the way, our financial system was in desperate need of modernization anyway. Let's do it. Let's do it right.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely right. So your role in the Senate Banking Committee, you guys are working through a lot of these issues. Can you talk a little bit about, what we can expect in the next, with clarity coming up in the next couple of months, kind of how you're working through some of the issues that you're talking about, how you might be a translation layer for some of your colleagues, some of the pitfalls that we should be thinking about as an industry. We'd love to hear your thoughts there.
Yeah, well, hopefully, by the way, it's the next couple of weeks. We can't let this thing keep going on. We've been at this for, in my mind, too long. We have the outline of what a deal should be. We understand what a good bill looks like. Good bill's pretty straightforward. It doesn't revisit Genius, like that bill passed, so let's not talk about that. It protects developers. It protects decentralized finance. It allows self-custody, and it makes certain that you have a bright line between the SEC and the CFTC. I mean, that's pretty much the deal. The problem is, I would use this analogy where we are today. If you ordered pizza and you wanted red peppers on it, like the sprinkle stuff that you get from from the pizza place, sometimes you open the packet and you're like, oh crap, it went all over the pizza, like way too many red peppers. I think right now that's where we're at.
Okay.
So we need to let's fix this back up and make sure that we get this right. I will say this to you. I did a lot of negotiations in my life in my different businesses, and I think there's a time when you got to just say, we're done negotiating. And I think there's also a time in which you have to be able to say, no deal is better than a bad deal. And what we're not going to do, at least what I don't want to do, is promulgate a bad bill just so that we can say we passed something. So that's kind of where we're at. We'll see. We have a big meeting tomorrow morning with the Democrats. We'll see where their heads are at. But it's been decently frustrating in the last couple weeks.
With your, in working with Chairman Scott, partnering with the Democrats, kind of who are the ones, what are the issues that you guys are thinking about as kind of top of mind?
Well, first of all, Chairman Scott's done an incredible job. That man has 1,000 times more patience than I do. He does a very, very good job. He's very smart. He's very deliberate. Senator Lummis, obviously, is the most knowledgeable person in the Senate on this topic. She does great work. Her staff does great work. But again, it just is your tolerance for pain and your tolerance for patience. Mine is like, you know, when you drive your car and the light's flashing and you start to sweat because you're about to run out of gas. That's my patience level. And look, we passed a bill in the House with 78 Democrats. Very bipartisan. Now, we want to make it better. That's fine. But again, we can't end up in a situation where, because we work so much to try to placate people who honestly just have no idea what they're talking about, that you end up with something that's really, really bad. Yeah. So that, to me, is kind of where we're at. We're right at that fork. I have confidence in Chairman Scott and Senator Lummis that we can get back on the car, back on the track. But, you know, the Democrats are feisty. Yeah. And we got to make certain that that they get on it. You know, part of the problem, honestly, is if you have somebody who really doesn't know what they're talking about, they're very easy to influence. Because what they'll do is they'll give them like a little nugget of BS, and they'll cling on to that little nugget of BS, and then use that as the objection for why something shouldn't happen. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about how, like, concerns and why things shouldn't happen, right? So let's talk a little bit about why things should happen. And so you are uniquely qualified to talk about, you know, your interest in blockchain technology, to talk about how it is a transformative use case, how you used it, kind of, you have an operational know-how that many others probably don't. Can you talk a little bit about use cases you're excited about, compelling examples, you know, anything like that that would kind of inspire some of your colleagues to kind of get over some of the concerns?
Yeah, I mean, I lived this myself. When I decided to start Champ Titles, which I've subsequently sold, by the way, and by the way, heavy tear in my eye because I sold it at the wrong time. But I didn't want to have a conflict. I didn't want to come to events like this and have my Democrat colleagues go, oh, look, this helps your business, blah, blah, blah. So decided to exit that. I have no businesses, totally free of any conflicts, no individual stocks. But look, when we started Champ Titles, we ran into exactly the kind of nonsense that we're running into right now. I go to state governments and go, you're using this antiquated titling system that is amazingly easy to develop fraud. It has weak protections, is heavily paper-based, extremely expensive. These things were all AS400 based. I mean, disaster of disasters. Like, somebody who graduated from college today would never know that that's actually a computer, because that's like a relic. And we came in and said, we'll give you the system for free. I thought, you can't beat that price. And we'll just share it at transaction fees. Mm-hmm. You would have thought that I wanted to murder puppies on the public square. Now, fortunately, Jim Justice, who's now my colleague, he understood what it meant for West Virginia. He put that in place. By the way, West Virginia is making a profit at their Bureau of Motor Vehicles, a profit. In fact, the state doesn't even know what to do with it because they don't realize that that's actually even possible. It used to be a major expense. And what it does is very simple. What used to happen on paper is now completely digital. It's completely secure. It allows you to do all kinds of really cool things in the future. Like, for example, if you and I want to buy a car together because we maybe think that car will appreciate, it's easier to do. We tokenize it. You don't have to worry about the title. You can get car loans on a title instantaneously rather than going down to some crazy place to do it. So there's lots of really cool use cases. The question we have to ask ourselves specifically in this town is America going to be the country where innovation happens, or are we done with that? Like, if we decided that government is so burdensome and so much in the weeds of things that they shouldn't get involved in, that we will take tech innovation and move it offshore. I hope and pray every day that that's not where we end up. This is going to happen. The current financial system in 5 years, not even 10 years, will be what we think about Blockbuster Video when I talk to my kids about it. Like, if you talk to a 14-year-old kid and you say that you used to go to the corner store to find a movie and then hunt for the case, and then you went to the checkout stand and it wasn't available, so you went and argued about another movie, and then 4 hours later you sat down and you said, screw it, it's too late, we're not going to watch the movie. They'd say that's not a thing. I actually had my son the other day, because he started his dealership and I needed to wire him some money, and I made him sit on the phone call with me while I wired money. It took me 35 minutes after having made an appointment to talk to somebody at private banking to send a wire. That is insane that we live in 2025. By the way, 3 phone calls. One, to get a hold of somebody. Somebody has to call you back to validate. I'm like, I just talked to you. Like, literally, it was just me. And then the next phone call, where they repeat you the information, I'm like, again, it's you and I again. And then finally, then 2 hours later, the money finally hits the other party. We laugh about this, but this is our current financial system, and we got people down the street going, what's wrong with it? But I'll give you one last thing. Do you know the number one reason somebody buys a Bentley on a Saturday? I used to have a big Bentley dealership. Think, well, because they love the performance. No, high school reunions. So that guy comes in on Saturday going, man, I'm going to show up with my Bentley. They cannot buy a Bentley on a Saturday and pay cash. Think about that. It's 2025. I have money in my bank. The dealer wants my money. You're unable to send that money because it's Saturday. So you have to put the guy in a finance contract or roll the dice and take a personal check. All that is just stupid. What you guys are doing right now, you'll have a meeting like this in 5 years going, you'll give all these examples of how stupid our financial system was. And there's players in the market that don't want to change. And that is probably people like Kmart, people like Sears, people like Blockbuster, who thought their business model was fantastic. But we should not empower dinosaurs.
That's the best argument for stablecoins that I've probably ever heard. So, congratulations on that.
The Bentley coin.
The Bentley coin. Anybody want to invest? So we have about 5 minutes left, and your staff tells me that you do have a hard stop. But I think that we're going to flip the script a little bit and do a Q&A. So this is an unsanctioned Q&A with the senator, and he assures me it's okay. So anybody have any questions for the senator while we have him? If not, I can continue to ask him my questions. Oh my gosh, no, it's a real shy group. I mean, usually when we're asking for regulatory clarity,
don't be afraid to ask me a question that is that would hurt my feelings or be controversial. Clearly, that's not my concern.
Yeah. Well, if I don't see any, I have one. So we just talked about payments use case. We're nearly 6 months out from when Genius was passed. What have you been hearing about kind of the impact that we're seeing already? You were talking about onshoring, et cetera. Like, kind of what is the positive things that you've seen come out of this?
Well, I mean, the positive is everything we realize. I mean, you have a group of people that are out there selling the United States dollar all over the world. That's a phenomenal thing. Yeah. I used to joke when I'd had these issuers come to my office and they talked to me about stable coins, maybe the way they talked to my colleagues about it, and I'd interrupt them. I go, do you have an army? And they go, what do you mean? Do you own a military? And they go, no. I said, sold. Because if the largest owners of stable coins on earth are a bunch of private companies that are out there selling U.S. treasuries, that is a net very positive for the U.S. I think I can tell you this, I was in Europe in August, and they're absolutely, I would say, feeling like they've been left behind because we passed the Genius Act. Give Senator Hagerty a huge props for making that happen. It's a game changer. And by the way, the race is on of how this is going to happen. I'm sure like any other technology, you're going to have probably too many issuers. All that's going to filter out, and you'll have the winners and the losers, the ones who can make the compelling case to the market.
Yeah. I guess one last thing. So you are with a sea of policy professionals, lawyers, government relations. We've done a lot of work engaging with our members, a lot of work engaging with legislative directors, et cetera. What are some of the things that we should be thinking about and talking about?
The most important thing you guys can do is actually education. Don't think that you have an objection from a policymaker. You may just have lack of knowledge. I like to say equally informed people seldom disagree. What you guys do at the Blockchain Association, these kinds of seminars, it's about level setting everybody. So without commenting on opinions, it's like, let me just explain how this works. And keep it simple. Keep it simple. For the love of God, keep it simple. Do not get, if the word hash rate comes out of your mouth, stop talking. Talk about what this does, what is the end product. And don't get too far into the end product. Don't go 5 years out because that may freak somebody out. Just keep it simple, keep it straightforward. It's the headline is really, look, this will happen. Our financial system in this world will be totally revolutionized. That's a fact. Nobody, no matter how much you think you matter here in DC, is going to stop it. That's not the question. It's, does it happen here in the United States of America, or does it happen somewhere else? That's the only question that we have before us. And we want to put together a regulatory framework that is clear, that gives that delineation, understands why developers have a unique role. We want to empower self-custody. We want to make certain that never again do we have morons like Gary Gensler that can wreak havoc. So we need to build in those protections. And I think if we do those things, then we can have a great bill, get this across the finish line.
That's great. Senator, thank you so much for your leadership. A round of applause, everybody. Thanks so much.